Hello, friends and extended family. Um, I wanted to do this video for men out there in the West that have, you know, had a rough time, whatever it may be, and end up on the wrong end of maintenance enforcement and family courts. It seems to be men that are disconnected, already struggling. They're basically like myself. I mean, whenever I worked, I just paid. This is my second time through this. Like there's no getting around it. The first child I had, my life was wrecked. The barriers to employment that maintenance, like if you, they put me in half my income. I was making $800 a month. I couldn't afford to pay that money. I couldn't even afford to pay the $100 a month I was scrounging, skimping, and saving. $800 doesn't go very far when you don't get your education. You went through the adoption program, etc. So at the end of the day, they put out these amounts of money that you could potentially pay as long as nothing comes up. You have no emergency. You don't ever lose your job. You just are steady for the rest of your life. But if you slip up once, they start coming after you. They want to make deals. They want to call your work. They want to garnish you, take your passport, take your license, what makes it impossible to work. They want to wreck you. And by doing that, they basically continue to make deadbeat dads a real thing. I don't know many fathers who haven't wanted to try and contribute to their children's lives. I sure did. I wanted my children in my life. Maintenance enforcement made sure that was an impossibility. And not only that, it entitles the woman, and let's face the facts here. When young couples, fool around, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they break up, they're angry, they're jealous, they're bitter, they're spiteful, they're narcissistic, they're all kinds of bad things. But if you give one the power of the courts, the cops, everything, what's the word? Auto non grata. Like my Latin is not even existent, but it's basically you say to the woman, if you tell us anything about this person, we will hammer him, we will take his license, we will send the police, we'll throw him in jail, we'll do whatever you want to him. Just tell us anything. Anything you want about him, we'll make sure he never sees his kids. That's the deal. And the first time around, I thought it was a unique situation. People said to me, they can't do that to you. I said, they are. Legal aid said, we'll give you legal aid because they can't do that to you. The lawyer at legal aid said, they can't do that to you. This is a mistake. Then at that time, I had gotten myself a student loan because I knew I couldn't pay that amount of money on minimum wage. I mean, I only had a high school matriculated diploma. It wasn't like my parents' generation where a grade 9 education, you could make it. You didn't have to do anything, really. Anybody could make it. It was just, I don't know, baby boomers. And then, they got the inheritance, their money, all that stuff, and they sucked it all up. But I mean, that's my own bitter resentments, this sort of thing. But it's a real situation that's happening. And sort of what's started cluing me in is, at one point I ended up in the remand center for something that later on people were very like. I, I I got into a conflict with an incestual pedophile, and I put him in the hospital. So I was in jail, and I was so traumatized from being in that incestual home, and so confused that I was eating pages out of the Bible. I was completely disconnected from reality. And they eventually put me up in the psych ward so I didn't get killed. And when I got up there, wow, I talked to a psychiatrist. I explained it was like night and day and what was going on. He put me on a pill. I could think straight for a little while. And, I was still so traumatized. But the thing that really clued me in is the guys that I was up there with tended to be guys that had fallen down and gotten the crap kicked out of them by the family courts, by family law. Their wife beat them up. They're the ones in jail. And it was the real deal. And if you look across Canada, I believe there's only one men's shelter. And I can tell you as a man that I have been beaten in my home by my partners. I have been molested. I've been penetrated. I have had things stolen from me. Everything. Extorted, blackmailed. I've had people come after me because they wanted revenge. Not one of those people ever had a talking to. The best case scenario, when I was held against my will and bitten, a chunk of flesh almost bitten off my arm, the best case scenario was I spent $6,000 on a lawyer. Luckily, I had a job. I spent a year in trauma from the situation. I was the one who went to court and had to defend myself because I wouldn't speak against the person. My own stupidity, maybe. And at the end of the end of the trial, it was thrown out, and the judge, this was a win for me. The judge said, "Oh, well, this was obviously a mutual thing, so I wasn't mutual. I was trying to leave the home, and I was blocked and attacked, and my things were smashed. And then in defending my own self, in her pulling me over on top of her, and in finally, when the animal was on my arm, teeth sunk in, and I went pop pop to get the animal off of me, the feral beast. That was the deal. That it was my fault. And the woman, RCMP, told me, "Oh, when that happens, you massage the jaw." Has anyone out there had human teeth stuck in their body? And when that happened, did you think to yourself, massage the jaw? Right. So I think, I know. I know why men are attacked whenever they start getting together to talk about these sort of things. Because this scam seems to be quite widespread. And, when I was a 19-year-old kid going through this nightmare, I mean, talk about suicidal ideation. Talk about over medicating. What a nightmare. And everyone not believing it. They can't do that. They can't do that. They can. They do. They do it all the time. And you know what keeps it going? Is because men are so ashamed to look like a deadbeat dad. They're so ashamed to admit they have to drink just to get by. They're so ashamed that they were with a person who could do that to the father of their child. They're so ashamed of their poor choice in people. They're so ashamed of their lack of discernment that they suffer in silence alone, and they kill themselves, and that's the real thing that we do to the fathers in the West. That's really what's going on. And if you had no wonder they only have one shelter. Because you know what? I imagine it's full. And I imagine if you open another, it would fill. And another, and another. But instead, we leave these people to their own devices and misery, thinking, they've fallen through the cracks or they've done something wrong, when it's just one big scam, and it's warfare against these poor things and against the family. So to all you fathers out there that have gone through this, who are suffering alone by themselves, I feel you, brothers, fathers. I feel you. My heart goes out to you. And the revelation was simply this, that at this point in the game, I believe you could open up shelters to equal every woman's shelter out there, plus, and fill every single one of us with people who are being destroyed by their own country for profit, malevolence, evil, if you want to call it that. I don't know. But the family courts are a plague. Thank you, brother, who was in the paper. When you killed yourself, you at least left a note saying reform the family courts. My own adoptive sister's boyfriend killed himself over this. And you know what? He was well-to-do, had a house, all the stuff. He had money to pay for the lawyers. It doesn't matter. The deal is they set you up in situations now where, you know what? You can't pay. It's more than money than you make oftentimes. And now that's the norm. The old, they can't do that to you is now, well, that's just how it is. So good luck out there, my friends and brothers. And my sisters and mothers and daughters out there, stand up for your men and shun the people who do this type of thing to them. Call them out. Point them out. Fire them from their works. Run them off. They're not humans. I don't know what they are, but humans don't do that to other humans. Good day.